sports. It's in the game.
Hello guys and gals of the internet, I'm Mr. Mick of YouTube and Twitch TV, and it is that time again. An F1 game has come out, and it is time for the traditional first race on the new game. But first, we have a new feature to be told about.
Hello and welcome to F1 Life, the new hub of F1 22. A glimpse inside the prestigious and alluring lifestyle of Formula One. Your own personalised space where you can customise the appearance of your location, view past triumphs and career highlights, watch replays and customise your driver avatar, and of course, admire your fabulous supercar collection.
So welcome to F1 22. Yes, it is called F1 22 as EA's influence continues to be expanded on. Now they bought Codemasters a few years ago. A lot of EA's kind of traditions are being noticed, including the name of the game, and I think some people have already complained about the microtransactions, but that's vintage EA. It's nothing really new. The other big change is that there is an actual official soundtrack with official music for the first time ever in the F1 game, I believe. Now, to me, it's not really that great. I very much prefer the streamer-friendly mode theme that is playing right now. I very much prefer this to the official music, which is strange because generally in EA sport games in particular, the soundtracks are really good, but F1's 22's just doesn't hit it for me for some reason. I very much prefer this music right now, which is kind of a mix of the themes from F1 2012 and F1 2021. I very much prefer these. So as you saw back there, we have the new F1 Life feature. Now, to me, it's not really of huge interest, really, and neither is the supercars for that matter. They're not really of huge interest to me, so I'm just going to really skim over a lot of it. As you saw, I picked the Aston Martin, which I believe is the D12 Vanquish car, which I think is a more recent version of the the Aston Martin V12 Vanquish that was in the movie Die Another Day, the James Bond movie. So that was a pretty nice nod, because the Vanquish is a famous car for that reason. But to me, overall, this F1 Life feature doesn't really interest me that much. The supercars they're kind of okay, but they're not really features of the game for me that I'm very interested in. It's very much like classic cars or classic tracks, you know, just not of big interest for me. I know it's a big interest for a lot of people, but for me, it's not really. If they were in the game or not, it wouldn't really bother me, is what I would really say. Although I was surprised to find something later on that I'll point out. So really, we're just going to go through the options here. What was really nice is the main commentator. You can now actually change that to Alex Jakes, and it's not that I dislike David Croft. I just prefer Alex Jakes of the two. Honestly, I think Alex Jakes really should have got the Sky deal, and David Croft should probably have gone to Channel 4. But it's just really a matter of personal preference. I just love how Alex Jakes seems to remind me of Murray Walker with his very pants on fire style, and it's just really drilled me in. So it's not that I don't like David Croft, and he can have his moments, but Alex Jakes' commentary just hits the right notes for me. It's just how that is. So it is nice that they put him in the game, because predominantly he has been a part of the F2 content in the game, but now we can actually pick him, and actually he'll be commentating in the F1 parts of the game. So that's going to be really surreal for a while, actually. But definitely is something I'd actually pick of the two. Apparently Natalie Pinkham is supposed to be in this game, but I haven't heard her yet. I think that was her in the introductory part there, explaining what F1 Life was. So we're just going to skim over all of this. I'm just going to show you what my kind of character looks like. This is not going to be the character I use in the Rise of Aiden Jackson when that starts coming soon, which is the sequel to the commentators season I did last year, and pretty much everything will carry over from that except for a few things, but I'll mention more about that in the pre-season video because today is opening day of the game. The one thing I will tell you is that I am going to wait till most likely September, October until that actually starts, because I want to wait for F1 Manager 22 and kind of incorporate that in the storyline somehow. I'm not sure how that's going to be yet, but I guess we'll find out when the game comes out. Today is the traditional video, the first race on the brand new game with Mick Schumacher. We're going to go at the Miami Grand Prix, which is the new circuit for 2022. I'm very interested to see and to drive these new cars. It's going to be brand new cars. It's going to be actually a new experience for all of us. Now the cars are drastically different to F1 2021, so my driving might not be the best in this initial race, but I'm hoping to get faster as the game progresses and the performance patches come out as well. So it's going to be the traditional settings, traditional no assists. Obviously the big new thing in the weekend structure with this game is the addition of sprint races. It's nice that you can have the choice between having the sprint race at races that don't have sprint races, or the ones that do, say Imola, Austria and Brazil. That's a new choice in the game. You can actually have a kind of standard weekend. You can have an authentic weekend, which means the sprint race won't be in this track because Miami didn't have a sprint race, or you can add the sprint race yourself with race and sprint. So it's nice to have that choice. We're going to go kind of single session for practice, short qualifying, 25% race. It's just going to be a short one today, as it is the first race on the new game. And all the other stuff is what you've come to expect in terms of assists and rules. We're going to go with all the immersive options for the pit stops, the safety car experience when that comes out, or the formation lap. So that means I'll be going to the grid myself for the first time in the F1 game. AI difficulty 70, that's actually been lowered a little bit from say 80 or 85. That's what I generally run, but most times when the F1 game first comes out, the AI can be kind of uncharacteristically maybe a bit too fast. So we're going to nerve them a little bit and see if we can stay competitive. But I think in these brand new cars, just driving them is going to be quite the chore, because it's going to be so different to what I'm used to. Yeah, with that, let's go to the Miami Grand Prix practice session. And we've actually got a brand new kind of thing here. That's pretty cool looking. I like that little kind of board there. It's like a mix of the official board and their own board with say EA Sports and all that. So it kind of has the kind of presentation kind of down packed a little bit. But one thing I have noticed in the replays is it's the same tower from last year, which is kind of disappointing. I thought EA would be able to get the new graphics in, but maybe that's something they'll add later. I hope so. That'd be pretty awesome. We've got a very interesting weekend going to the first race of the new game. We're going to have rain in the qualifying session throughout, and we're going to have rain during the Grand Prix as well. So coming out of the pits, very tentative in this new car. I don't know what to expect. I'm not going to push too hard in these first laps. We're just going to kind of skim over the outlap a little bit and kind of keep it a flow going. This is going to be the first lap we do with some reasonable pace and speed going into turn 1. Heavy braking. The braking feels different. Braking definitely feels different. I think we're more prone to locking up on this game than previous ones. Let's see if we go into turn 4 here. We've passed the Aston Martin there. Obviously the new race engineer, Mark, I think his name is. I can't remember his full name, but the new race engineer. I actually like this new race engineer, to be fair. It feels authentic and real, because I think this new engineer was actually a race engineer at McLaren. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section, but I think he was a real race engineer at McLaren, so it feels a lot more authentic in terms of delivery of his lines in this game. So I think that was a nice touch. I think that was a nice change of kind of feel there. So I actually enjoyed that. So I'm expecting probably around, I would say, maybe P10 to P13. That's where Haas generally are in the pecking order. Now I'm not sure if the performance patch has already come out for the game or not. There is going to be obviously B1, but over the last couple of years the first performance patch has come out much later than just the first day, which is kind of a good thing this year, because obviously with the rise of Aiden Jackson not starting till maybe September, October, September is the earliest date of expected date. October could be the latest. Of course, in real life, like I said in my previous channel update I did, I mentioned that Summertime Radio are in kind of a crossover period in terms of real life right now, and we don't know what's going to happen. So we're kind of waiting on things to happen before we kind of do dates. But if anything changes, I'll obviously be sure to let you guys know. Now, that was a real issue I was having with the game very early on. The car can be very understeered. These cars are very unpredictable in terms of the handling and the physics. As you can see, I lit up the rear tires there and got passed by, I think that was Verstappen. I'm not sure, but yeah, I was having real problems with the handling of these cars. And they're very unpredictable. Sometimes in some corners you can have awful understeer and just go off the track, and other times you can just veer into the wall and just spin. I was really having problems with the kind of physics of the game. They very much reminded me of 2010, especially the spinning and coming out of corners and landing the tires. Very 2010-esque, which was very weird. So yes, definitely a lot to get used to in these new cars. We're currently P8, which I'll take. We've actually gone down to P9 because Sebastian Vettel was just beating me. And again, we just light up the rear tyres and lose the back end. Oversteer is a real common issue in this game. And it's going to take to get used to, for sure. Very sensitive when coming on the power. Charles Leclerc leads the practice session ahead of Perez and Carlos Sainz. Alex Albon has done bits, lads, in P9 in the Williams, but to be fair, he was on the soft tyres. We go P13 on the mediums. I'll take that. Kevin was P8 on the softs, but he was a second slower than Leclerc, which is pretty much where Haas are. They're definitely better than last year in real life, which is a good thing. It's just unfortunate that Mick Schumacher has currently scored no points for the moment, but they're coming. He's getting there. He's just got to have the luck on his side at this point at the moment, but he will score this year. I hope. I can't guarantee it, but he will hopefully score this year. We've lost the back end again and hit the wall, and I'm just having real issues. This is the kind of worst experience I've had since probably 2017, not even 2017, maybe 2010. Very new cars to drive here. Of course, in 2010, we were 4 years on from 2006, which is the last F1 game, and it feels like I'm learning the game all over again. But in doing so, I'm not feeling it. As you can see, I'm hitting the wall and sliding all over the place. Like the cars are very understeer in these games. Look at that. No kind of, I mean, back there I was on a straight and veered into the wall with no input. Getting on the power is certainly something you do not want to do in these cars, which I think is very much say the torque engine power delivery that the V6 engines have. So it looks like they might have got that down pat, but it's causing us to all to learn the game all over again, because 2021 was so different. Because the cars were basically the same as 2020, but now it's a brand new car and I'm really struggling. We're going to go up by half a second. It will probably take us ahead of the safety. We spin again and we hit the wall again, and the problems are mounting for me in terms of the driving physics on this game. I would say they feel worse than 2010 did at the moment. Because in 2010 I was spinning, but in 2022 you can't, or 22, you can't even get the power down in most cases. George Russell doing bits in the Mercedes, lads. P1, he's only going to stuck it on pole. Okay, Considering Mercedes were nowhere in the opening race of the season, that's certainly a surprise. But despite the rain being the great equaliser, we're last.
We are here in the coastal shores of Florida for the Miami Grand Prix, which has become the 11th Formula One track held in the United States. The grandstands are packed for what we hope is going to be another fantastic race. With great opportunities for wheel-to-wheel battles featuring 19 corners, 3.36 miles long and expected average speeds of 138 miles per hour, the Miami International Autodrome will be sure to create lots of chances to overtake. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Hamilton, Charles Leclerc and Sainz, Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Ocon and Kevin Magnussen, Tsunoda, Gasly, Lando Norris and Albon, Ricciardo, Zhou, Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel, Latifi and Mick Schumacher. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Anthony Davidson will be sharing his insight alongside me once again today. What should we be looking out for, Ant? Shall we kick off our conversation with George Russell?
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? A couple of favourites for the win then, but who comes out on top doesn't really matter as long as they give us an entertaining show en route to the checkered flag. And we want to see fair fighting, of course, out there on the track. Let's hope the stewards don't have to get involved too much today.
So that's a very mixed up grid in this game, which is quite a surprise, to be honest. Alex Albon P14 as we move on to the pit strategy screen. 14 laps in 25% race. The Ferraris down behind both Mercedes and both Red Bulls. And I kind of squinted and, not squinted, but I had a feeling of nervousness for what the rise of Aiden Jackson might hold, because obviously Aston Martin, as I announced on Twitter some time ago, is his destination. And even in the early template credits sequence I did, opening credits, you saw Jackson in the Aston Martin uniform, and I'm kind of like grimacing at the fact that Stroll and Vettel were only 17th and 18th behind the Alfa Romeo of Zhou Guanyu, and even Alex Albon up in P14. So that doesn't vote well for the rise of Aiden Jackson later this year, but we can hope the performance patch changes things, and we're going to be lining up with the grid, but not before we line up the rear tyres and have another spin. I'm spinning a lot more than I ever did in previous games. I think the most trouble I had was F1 2020 in the classic cars. Was the last time I struggled this much. Oh, we screwed up the parking. Oh, well, that's great. Well, here come the 5 red lights ahead of the drivers for the first race in F1 22. Lights out, and away we go, go, go. It's an average start, and Latifi has actually bulleted off the line to go round the outside of Vettel. We're going to dive bomb into turn 1, and it's going to pay off. There's Albon on the inside. We're hitting just off the side, but just slightly. No warning or anything like that. It was clean racing, perhaps. Norris gets back ahead of us. We've already made up 5 places off the start, so despite screwing up coming to the grid, it actually worked in our favour. Ricciardo is going to absolutely send it into turn 5, I think that is, and he's going to take the position from us, lick the stamp and sent it. Vintage Daniel Ricciardo, great move, and we had no answer for it. Zhou Guanyu down into 17th ahead of both Aston Martins, who are struggling early on, as Vettel and Guanyu Zhou keep battling now. It's going to be very interesting to see how... look at the speed Vettel's carrying there. That was with ERS activated, and Vettel almost gained a chunk on us. He's not going to try and move down the outside. Stroll has passed Zhou Guanyu. They're having a bit of a battle there themselves. We're kind of about half a second behind Ricciardo. Pretty much where Haas would be in real life at this point. In real life, Haas were better than certainly McLaren and Mercedes. Well, McLaren anyway in Bahrain. So it looks like the performance at the moment is very much pre-season testing pre-Bahrain. It seems like that's where they are, because Norris and Ricciardo are out of position. Vettel is certainly out of position with Stroll, and we're kind of out of position, but that's because I'm really struggling with the handling of the car at the moment on this game, and definitely going to have to it's definitely going to be a game I'm going to have to get used to. Ricciardo was absolutely blitzing it down that straight. He got a great exit from that corner, leading onto the back straight. And Vettel is now going to go down the inside, very much like real life, the reverse. But this time, Vettel's passing Schumacher, and there is no crash like there was in real life, unfortunately, which stopped Mick's charge towards some almost certain points. Zhou Guanyu down the inside of the back straight. We hit the brakes, we lock up, and that might give Zhou the advantage going into this corner. And we're going to have side by side, and Guanyu is going to back out of it and let us have 17th place. And will he pass us going into turn 1? Yes, he will. He absolutely sent it. Great move by Zhou Guanyu, but we almost hold it around the outside. We leave the track a little bit. Is Zhou going to hold it in this one? Yes, he is. And, well, we're getting absolutely mugged here, lads. We're getting very mugged by other drivers early on. We've not really got some good pace. There's a yellow flag ahead. Wanted there to be a safety car. Oh, my goodness, there's a McLaren facing the wrong way. Who was that? There's a McLaren facing the wrong way, so we actually gained that position. That was interesting. I wonder if the McLaren's touched and sent one into a spin. I think it was Norris, but I couldn't tell. There is a reason why we don't have a replay of that, and that will become clear in the next few laps. Right now, though, we're on the tail of Guanyu Zhou, coming down to the back straight, and look at the exit again. Oh my goodness, Zhou Guanyu. Absolutely great exit out of that corner and flying down the straight. We've got no answer. So it looks like the AI has a corner, that corner of Miami seems to be one of those that the AI particularly good at. And to me, it kind of feels like the AI might be uncharacteristically too fast. It might feel like that, very much like in 2017. The AI was very, very good in 2017, very quick. It feels like that now, because we're only on 70% AI. Now, I don't run 110 AI because I'm not good at the game anyway, but on 70 to 80, I should be really doing better than I am right now. And I'm not absolutely, like, butchering the driving at the moment. I'm actually keeping it on the track for the most part, but I'm able to make no inroads on anyone. And down straights, the AI seems really good. So, I don't know if the AI needs to be tweaked in a patch or not. Right now it might seem like it does. It was Norris that spun, because there's Ricciardo in the pits. First ever pit stop in immersive mode. That's not bad. We're going to exit out ahead of Zhou and Stroll. We are. It's actually Zhou Guanyu, but he likes to be called, as we learned in real life. Lap 7, and this is the upcoming is the reason why we don't have a replay of earlier. The game froze and crashed. And let me tell you something, when the game was coming out June 28th, Steam users were waiting a lot longer because it released at 7 in the morning, and Steam users were waiting until early afternoon to get it. And I was at the PC version as well. I had the Champions Edition, so I obviously had 3 days early access to the game, but we were waiting until like early afternoon to play it. And then we had this, I had the game freeze up on me there, so doesn't look like it's very optimized at the moment. Hopefully patches later in the game will kind of stop these niggles a little bit. It's day 1, you know, the game's not perfect, and it's something that I'll just have to keep an eye on. The screen, the game freezing, crashing is definitely not a me problem. It's not my PC. Other users have been reporting the same thing, so hopefully maybe on July 1st when the game comes out officially, there will be a patch that kind of fixes that and maybe sorts out the pecking order a little bit. And definitely the AI speed. They're definitely unnaturally fast right now. And it feels like 2017 when they had the same thing. The AI was very quick compared to me. Now in 2017, I think they did get tweaked. And 2017, to be fair, was the first year that had the difficulty slider, let's say. Moved on to the intermediate tyres, another green pit stop. We've caught right back up to Latifi. Now, this is what happened earlier. Now, is Latifi going to rocket out of this corner and speed down the straight? He certainly is. Look at that. Look at that exit. He's already halfway down, like half a second ahead of us. And that's, I shook my head at that. Because there's no way the Williams, even with the Mercedes power unit, there's no way the Williams would be beating the Haas in straight line speed like that. And what was even more weird is this is in the rain, which is normally the great equalizer in F1 games. Not the case today. Definitely not the case. I can barely keep up with the TV. Perez has ended up down in P18. What's happened to Perez in this race? Or P19 actually. Something happened to Perez in this race and he's now down towards the back. So people at the front have had theirs to some degree as we enter the final lap of this Grand Prix. We're going to get nowhere near the TV. We run wide there. And so we're going to open the door for Perez, who's going to probably pass this very simply actually. There he goes. I really expected that, so I wasn't really surprised. But the thing is, we gained so much on the TV in the chicane, and then heading into the penultimate corner on the back straight, yeah, he just rockets out of there and gains half a second. So definitely the AI pace certainly is a bit too fast at the moment. I think that needs to be tweaked a little bit maybe, because I'm only on 70%. So it definitely needs tweaking. Even Time Lady with all the assists and down to 40% is finding the AI very fast. So definitely needs some tweaks in the AI. Hopefully they can tweak that a little bit. Oh my goodness me. Are you absolutely joking? Look who has won the race, lads. It's only Valtteri Bottas again. The man who won the 2021 championship in the commentator's season. Had dominated the season. And now he wins the Miami Grand Prix, only this time he's in an Alfa Romeo. What is it with Bottas? Over the last, say, since 2018 or 19, maybe it's 17, but definitely 2020 and 2021, Bottas has been unnaturally, well, he is a very fast and good driver, to be fair, but he's very outdoing himself, and he's only gone and won it in the Alfa Romeo, lads. That's astounding to me. So Valtteri Bottas still has that winning feeling in a different car, and I hope he gets tweaked because that's kind of ridiculous to me. Zhou Guan Yu, one driver of the day. Obviously this was a restart of that race because we had the game crash. Alfa Romeo are winners in Grand Prix in Formula 1, lads. Look at Kevin Magnussen's P3. Wait a minute, what? The Alpine in P2. Oh my goodness, we've had a madness. Where are the Ferraris? Where are Red Bull? Where's Verstappen? What on earth? What a bizarre top three. Bottas, one of the Alpines, I'm not sure which one it was, and Kevin Magnussen scores Haas's first podium. What? Oh my goodness. Well, I'll tell you something, if the Rise of Aiden Jackson storyline is going to have top threes like this, sign me up. I definitely would like to have more of this when the Rise of Aiden Jackson starts in September or October time, depending on things. And it's Ocon. It was Ocon I think I saw in P2. Wow, what a madness. What an absolute madness. We got Alfa Romeo, Alpine and Haas, your top three today in the Miami Grand Prix. Where are Sainz and Leclerc, and where is Verstappen? Verstappen normally is the wet weather master, but alongside Hamilton. But we only had 2 laps of wet weather running, so he obviously didn't have that kind of much of an impact. I've got to see what happened here. We reached level 2 on the tier. I have bought the VIP version of the first kind of pass. I always do, if I can have the PitCon to spare to do it. So George Russell drops to 4th. Guan Yu Zhou made up 10 places to 6th. The Ferraris 7th and 11th, with Sainz and Leclerc respectively. Hamilton down in P9 from 4th. And wow, what a topsy-turvy order that is. Not only do we have a topsy-turvy grid, we have a topsy-turvy race. Sign me up. But definitely the AI is uncharacteristically fast. Oh, okay, that explains it. So, Bottas, Ocon and Magnussen all started on the medium tyres, which meant they were able to take those tyres to the wet period. What a blinder by those three. Zhu was also did it. So the guys on the medium tyres really benefited from this race this weekend. And they did bits as it worked out. So that's F1 22's first race, a very dismal one for myself. Definitely need to get used to the handling. The AI probably needs tweaking a little bit. And of course we had a game crash there, which is a problem that's been known so far. So not the best of first races in F1 22. The only way is up. and I'll just have to get used to the new physics of the game. So that's day 1, a tradition of F1 game with Mick Schumacher. It's not the best, it can only get better from here, right? I'm Mr. Mick, I'm signing off, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.